Welcome back to the Healing Hotline. I'm your host, Jessica Trambarker, and today we're going to be talking about one of the most healing subjects of all, the council. So basically, one day I was scrolling on TikTok and I saw this video, and this person was like, I decided to call all the voices in my head the council, and then like whenever I feel like I've had enough, I'd say like the council is not having it today or whatever, like basically telling the voices in her head like to relax, like we're not doing that today or whatever. There was a person that stitched that video and they were saying that your counsel is basically influenced by your parents and stuff like that or whatever, right? So then I was like, oh shit, like I decided to use my pendulum and see like who was running my council. So I asked my pendulum and it told me that my dad was running my council. So when I found that out, I was like, holy shit. And I made a video. That video went viral, okay? That video got like over 100,000 likes. I don't even know how many views, but it got a lot of fucking likes. And there was a lot of people whose lives actually changed that day, because even in the comments they were saying how helpful it was for them to realize who was in their council, how to kick them out, and all of that. And you really do feel a shift. Like you realize like, wow, I was really acting like my parents. And part of it is like, you know, programming and, you know, all of that. But part of it is like the internal like stuff that you gotta energetically get out, which is reappointing the council is part of it. So this is going to require a pendulum. So if you don't have a pendulum, you need to buy a pendulum from me. You don't have to buy a pendulum from me. You can actually use the necklace, but you need to learn how to use the pendulum from me, because anywhere you look on the internet, they're just going to tell you a yes and a no, and you need so much more than that. I have a video crash course that comes with every pendulum purchase. You can get a custom pendulum that's like intuitively picked by your spirit team, so they can pick what kind of energy you need to get you through whatever it is that you're going through in life right now. I got all the great stuff, okay? You can check it out at thesoulgirl.com. Yes, this is going to require a pendulum or a necklace or a lanyard or whatever, but you're going to have to know how to use a pendulum, okay? Let's do this. So first things first, you want to make sure that your space is cleansed. In order to make sure that the space is cleansed, I'm just going to do a little sound cleanse. I've already smoke cleansed my space, but I understand if you're like, wait, I was not ready to do this. You know, we're going to do this with a tuning fork, okay? So I'm just going to sound cleanse really quick. I'm just going to do one. Nothing too crazy, but it's effective. You'll see. Okay, so we want to make sure that everything is cleansed, because this is some deep healing work that we're going to be doing, and we don't want any type of interference, okay? So now that the space is cleansed, let's make sure that we are cleansed and we are grounded, because I'm telling you, this is transformative. You're going to see today why I called it the Healing Hotline, okay? So take a deep breath in. Hold that at the top. Exhale. Hold that at the bottom. Now take a deep breath in. And when you exhale, imagine yourself being planted into the earth. Exhale. Okay, now that we've grounded ourselves and we've taken our grounding breaths, let's get into it. You only want your highest self to be running the council. And then there's going to be other members of your council, and some things are going to be like your inner child, your ego, your shadow self. Some can even be certain family members, certain ancestors. We're going to talk about how to kick certain people out, how to know if certain people or things, spirits, energies should be booted out. Now, this is really important to realize that when we say certain people, quote unquote, it's not people, it's the spirit of that person. And it's not like they know that they're in your council, because we are multi-dimensional beings. So it's just an aspect of them that has been planted into your subconscious mind to program the way that you think. And it's not really you. So you'll realize that once you take this person or this energy or this whatever it is, whatever it ends up being, out of your council, you will feel a lot of shifts. You'll realize, like, you'll start doing things differently, because you're like, damn, like, it really works. It's magic. It's amazing. And I'm going to teach you guys how to do it today. Okay? So you only want your highest self running the council, so you have to figure out first who is currently running your council. Now, all these questions that you're asking, make sure that you're asking them in your head, okay? You're going to ask yourself this question: who is running my council? There's going to be one person, or maybe a few, but whatever pops up into your head, and if it's not a person, it can even be a personality trait, but for most people, it's going to be whoever raised you, or your primary caretaker. Someone who had a lot of influence in your life. And you're going to use your pendulum to confirm if whatever you're thinking is true. So say, is this person running my council? And then you can pause right now and do that, and then resume it when you're ready, because I'm gonna keep going. So now that you have confirmed who is running your council, you're gonna ask your pendulum, should I remove this person or this thing or this whatever from my council? You're gonna ask, should I remove this person or this thing or this whatever from my council right now? If it tells you yes, then we'll proceed. If it tells you no, then say, try to figure out why they still need to be in your council. And you'll go down the rabbit hole of questions, and just whatever comes up in your head, just ask your pendulum, is that right? Is that right? Okay. Get to the bottom of it. Some of y'all might notice that I'm saying people or I'm saying things, and you might be asking, like, what is that about? So when I posted that video, there were people that were giving me feedback on like how it went for them. And one person was asking like how many people they had in their council, and it said like 1,000 something people in their council. And I was like, what? And then another person said that they had kicked out like perfectionism or something like that out of their council. And I was like, wait, so personality traits can be your council. So that makes sense why that one person had like 1,000 something. It was probably a lot of personality traits. So when there is something that you don't want within the way that you act, and you realize that like it's not helping you, and you're ready to transmute that energy, essentially, what you're going to do is take it out of your council. Now, for personality traits, it's different than people, because the people, they probably shouldn't have been there in the first place. But the personality traits, they're energy, right? So you are going to replace that energy with something else. Like, you need to do that equal exchange. So let's say that you take out perfectionism, right? Like you say, okay, I banish perfectionism from my council. You do the thing with your pendulum. You're still going to hold your pendulum up, and you're also going to say, and I replace perfectionism with the energy of divine flow, something like that. You're going to figure it out before you do it, obviously, but you're going to replace it with an energy that is going to be beneficial. And that is the transmutation process of this whole thing. This thing is like powerful, incredible, amazing, like life changing. I'm telling you, you start implementing this shit and it fucking works. Now, one of the best ways to really like see how this works is to just grab a notebook, preferably something that you have not written in before, and start writing down the things that you have banished, and the things that you have replaced it with, or the people that you have banished, whatever. Start writing these things down, and then you're going to start seeing, okay, wow, these shifts started taking place. I banished this and replaced it with this, and now I started acting this way, and now it's really easy for me to get certain things done. I don't feel lazy. I can actually clean my house. I can actually, do things and like enjoy myself. And there's the possibilities are literally endless, because like you're creating your reality. You're literally creating your reality. So this is like one of the most powerful things that you can do, and this is like powerful self-concept work. Now, obviously, this is like the easy part, right? The more difficult part is what comes along with these things, because the universe is going to give you challenges and certain obstacles. And okay, do you really want to embody this energy? Let me show you what that's gonna take. And that is where certain people, they say, oh, I'm going back. I'm not doing that. They said, no, sir, too uncomfortable. I'm not doing that. You got to be okay with being uncomfortable. It's literally, cringe is a tactic that the universe uses as gatekeeping. If you can get past the cringe, you have gotten past those gates, and on the other side, it's literally everything that you fucking want. The beginning of November last year, 2023, I started posting like oracle card readings, really simple ones, because I would always pull a card for myself in the beginning of the day, and I was like, you know what, like I know a lot of people kind of relate to me or whatever, so let me just put this out there. And obviously I was hoping that a lot of people would see it, but at first it was nothing for a month. And I would post on Instagram and I would get 0 fucking likes, and people would see the shit on my story, but they would not fucking give 2 fucks to like that shit. And that shit, that's cringe. That's so uncomfortable. That would make people be like, ooh, I'm not doing this shit no more. Fuck this shit. But I was like, fuck it. I don't care. Because like, one, I was building up like my consistency. I was showing myself that I could show up every single day and post every single day, and it made me more comfortable with posting and just saying like, fuck it, I'm gonna just put it out there. I don't care that it don't get no likes. It helped me to build that kind of like muscle for just putting myself out there, and it did something really cool. And now I have a video on Instagram that's going pretty viral. I would say pretty viral. It's got like 300 something likes, and that's the most I've ever gotten in anything for Instagram. So I got past the cringe, and voila, I got a viral video. So like, you gotta be willing to do the uncomfortable things, because that's a huge part of healing and just breaking past all the barriers. And like, fuck what other people say. Like, the only reason why anybody would talk shit is because they're hating. And if they're hating, that means they're jealous. And if they're jealous, that means they want what you have. And if only they knew that it means that they can have not what you have, but they can have something similar. The universe is literally foreshadowing it to them, but they can't get past their fucking ego. So it's only a mindset shift away. I've been doing this since 2021, and I still, till this day, am removing stuff from my council and adding stuff to my council. I really need to make this podcast episode and share it with people and let people know how powerful this is, and that healing doesn't take much. Just a pendulum and a notebook. because you do need that pendulum. Your pendulum is going to confirm what is actually in your counsel and when it is time to banish something from your counsel, because you can make a whole list right now of the shit that you don't like within yourself, but that does not mean that you are ready to banish all of that shit and transmute that shit. It's just the reality of it, because you cannot transmute it if you don't know why it was there in the first place. All of this requires shadow work, and you're naturally going to do it when you start banishing these things. You're going to be like, damn, why was perfectionism in my counsel in the first place? When you're asking yourself, what is the opposite of this thing? Like, how can I transmute it? That is what's going to make you go deeper and be like, okay, like, yeah, I don't need perfectionism. I need to go with the flow of the universe and just trust that I'm being divinely guided. So I don't need to stress if things are perfect, because everything happens exactly as it's supposed to. And if I'm trying to control things and say, oh, it needs to be this way, I'm basically telling the universe that it doesn't know how to do its job. I'm telling the creator, I'm telling God that it doesn't know how to do its job. And damn, disrespectful, right? So we wouldn't do that. So we don't need that thing, you know? So you're naturally going to do shadow work when you do these things, and it's really cool. So I think that was like a shit ton of information, and I feel like y'all are going to need a moment to digest and to reassess your counsel. So I'm going to leave you guys with that for this episode. Now, I have been contemplating like if I am going to do episodes every week, because I'm going to be honest, I feel like maybe I put on a lot on my plate, because if you don't know, I make pendulums, I make rugs with my husband, and I also do this podcast, you know, and I do the social medias for our stuff. I do a lot of stuff. So I think that me doing a podcast episode every single week might be me biting off more than I can chew. So I might do them bi-weekly. We're going to see though. I'm going to see how it goes. I just wanted to make sure that I said something to y'all so y'all can know. Let me ask my pendulum. Yeah, my pendulum said bi-weekly. We're going to do bi-weekly every other week. And I think that'll be good. The next episode, y'all are definitely going to want to tune in, because I'm going to be talking about something that one of my students had asked me to talk about a long time ago, and I am finally getting around to it. But everything is divine timing, because spirit, you know, I move when spirit gives me the green lights. So next episode, which will probably be not next week but the week after, in 2 weeks, we're going to be talking about twin flames. Okay, and get excited for that, because it's not your average talk about twin flames, and it's going to be great. I will see you guys next time for the next episode of the Healing Hotline. I'm your host, Jessica Trambarger, signing out.